Hi there, I'll be reviewing this book, The Life Changer by Khadija Abubakar Jalli in this video. Welcome to P English Literature, a YouTube channel that conveys Amazon, Goodreads, blog, and video book reviews coupled with interviews with authors. It's a perfect channel for book lovers, authors, and writers generally. P English Literature, the exact channel for you and me. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel at P English Literature. If you've not subscribed to this channel, or if this is the first time you're watching this video, I want to urge you to please click on the subscribe button over there so you can get notified anytime I release new videos. So today is a talk on The Life Changer by Khadija Abubakar Jalli. I actually felt the need to review this book for the students who will be taking the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board Examination 2021 chapter. So I thought to review this book so they can have a more proper understanding reading through this book in order for them to be able to answer the question well. This book is actually a very kind of a lovely novel. I love it so much and it really owns my sincere recommendation, even though it is coming directly from JAMB. So I will be reading to you the synopsis that was inscribed at the back page of this book. This synopsis actually spoke about the story of the book and also some part about the author of the book. So I'll be reading to you the synopsis of the book. The Life Changer is a debut novel that changes the narrative of life on campus, laced with underlying optimism. This book upholds the tenet of hope and redemption in the life of our youth. This is Khadija Abubakar Jalli's first publication, and she seems to be saying that the female voice is making a rebound on the parapet of African literary scene. The story follows the escapade of Sama and her roommate in the university as they swim in the turbulence and semitide of the academia. Khadija holds a BSc Edu in Mathematics degree. She is an entrepreneur and the Chief Executive Officer of She's Boutique Africa. Khadija Abubakar Jalli is married with children. This book really owns my sincere recommendation and it's very interesting read. So I'll be reading to you, or I'll be narrating the story of this book in entirety. This review is actually going to be a spoiler review because I actually intend to make it for the student of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board so they can have a proper understanding of this novel, which talks would help them to answer the question, the likely question that might come up pertaining to this novel in their English. The story actually began in a room, and the narrator of this book was actually not mentioned, but to my own perception I'll call the narrator Omar's mother. In the room, Bint was the narrator of, or the cause of the talk, because it's actually a kind of a discussion between females, and Bint, a 5-year-old child, or daughter rather, was the one who was narrating her experience with a social study teacher who claimed to understand French. The social study teacher has actually asked the student in the class to say something in English to French, of which Bint was the only one who could provide answer to that. So it went on and on that Bint really now asked to ask the social studies teacher who claimed that he understands French a question in French. This in turn, the social studies teacher couldn't provide an answer to it, and he had to go outside to bring in a French teacher who later come inside to provide answer to the question that Bint had asked. So Bint's colleague gathered round about her, and they were quite happy with her that she's able to at least make their teacher to move on a subject as pertaining to French. So this was what the narrator of this story heard from far distance where she sat, and to my own perception I'll call the narrator of this story Omar's mother. So when she heard it, she came into the room to meet her daughter who has been narrating some sort of story, and it was on this base that she was still trying to persuade with them and to congratulate and also to encourage Bint on her academic pursuit. They were on this when Omar came inside. Omar is the first and the only son of the narrator in this novel, and he came in with the news that he had just been offered admission by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board of Nigeria to study law at the Ahmadu Bello University of Zaria. So the kids really were glad together with their brother admission, and they thought that is something worth celebration. But Omar had to reach out to a younger sister to tell them not to tell his dad whenever he arrived, and that he would like to be the one to narrate the story, to break the good news to him. The story went on and on, and that the children asked their mother to perform, to narrate a story for them. So the narrator was quite a little bit contemplative, thinking what she would really narrate to these children, and she felt to tell them of a story of her experience in the university. So she began by narrating her story and that of her friend called Sama, which to me seems to be the character in this book. So the story began as Sama seems to be a kind of a young girl, beautiful and quite alluring. She had just been offered admission also to study at the Ahmadu Bello University of Zaria together with the narrator of this book. The story began, one of the parts that I found quite interesting was the part where Sama had just joined a queue, and she started talking a little bit about the aftermath or the characteristics of most lecturer in the university. She spoke of how some lecturer would demand money from you if you're a male child, and they would demand that you hang out with them if you're a female in order to get some things done. So Sama started talking a little bit about lecturer in a kind of an unfair manner, of which she never knew that the person that she was actually engaging information or conversation with is the lecturer which was going to attend to them. So when the person who was actually cleaning the room came outside and handed over the key of the room that he had just been cleaning, of which students were actually waiting outside in order to get attended to the man who had been engaging Sama in conversation so far, that was how Sama was embarrassed, and she felt a little bit quite guilty because she never knew that the person that she had been engaging in conversation with so far about the reactions of lecturer to student, to university student, was himself a lecturer. The narrator also told Omar and the other student of her experience with some kind of lecturer also in the university. But in this part, she mixed it out because the lecturer that she thought is having some fierce sort of characteristics was actually his husband friend, who was the one who ultimately helped her with her admission into the university. The chapter 4 of this book spoke about the story of Tali in Lafayette. Tali is someone who was given birth to in some kind of hard luck or ill luck to me. His mother died at the point of giving birth to him, and he's a very kind of a gentle person who hardly spoke everything outside. He's a very quiet person, and he seems to be the most gentle person in the entire town of Lafayette. The exposure of Tali began when the grocery store that he used to patronize seems to undergo some kind of trait. They begin to notice that his demand has grown so high in recent days. So they had to call Tali together and ask him some sort of question that why is it that your demand has grown all this while? Where do you get money to purchase this thing? Because we know you as a male local government or government driver. So why have you chosen to purchase some things in the grocery in a kind of an high demand? Tali made it clear to them that he is actually purchasing this thing so that he can store up his stock, and in a mean that it would prevent him also from buying things when they are down. It was on this basis that the policeman came inside and were searching for Tali, asking everyone who Tali really is, but now found him that he was actually laying down in front of the king, Akimi of Lafayette. It was on this spot that the policeman actually arrested him because Tali was found guilty together with his friend of the crime of abduction and kidnapping. That was how Tali was sentenced to some years of imprisonment with hard labor together with his perpetrator friend for the crime of adoption and kidnapping. The chapter 4 of this book spoke about Dr. Dabo's experience with Sama. These days Sama was actually going to register with Dr. Dabo. So when Sama came inside the room, he noticed, Dabo noticed that she is quite dressed in an indecent manner, and she is undoubtedly a beautiful lady and with a fair kind of complexion. Dr. Dabo felt the need to quickly attend to Sama so that he would be relieved of the tendency to commit sin or of some sort of temptation. So Dr. Dabo asked Sama what she actually wanted, and she told her, and he quickly attended to her and quickly dispatched her. At the point of dispatching Sama, Dr. Dabo found himself calling her back as she attempted to go outside from his room, from his office instead. So when Dr. Dabo called Sama back, he started engaging with some kind of intimate relationship conversation, which would definitely lead Sama to be annoyed. That was how Sama came out of the room, and he really left him there. So Dr. Dabo was a little bit quite contemplative that he has been working so far in the university and like sisters. So the story went on and on and on to the point whereby Sama was tucked up in the road someday, and that was the point where he met the Benz owner, Habib and Labaran, who later seems to fall in love with her and seek that they should hang out most time frequently, of which Sama ended up giving them a wrong number, handing over Tomiwa's number to her instead of her own personal number. That is how the story went on and on and on, and Sama, together with a friend, began to engage themselves with this Benz owner, Habib and Labaran, and they became a very kind of a good friend. This story went on and on to the day that Sama was supposed to have an examination called the moral philosophy. Moral philosophy is a kind of course that most students would pass easily, because the course is something that you are taught if you are a Christian in the church, and it's also something that you are majorly taught if you are a Muslim in the mosque. So most students don't really attend the lecture of this particular course, and they do of course perform very well in it. But with Sama, it was a different case entirely, because she felt she was really embarrassed. The examination began and the script was all passed, and every student began to answer the question, but Sama found it very difficult to even write a question, to even answer a single question. The invigilator noticed that she wasn't writing anything down, and was so particularly because of the way she dressed into the examination hall, which was quite indecent of her, even as a student. It was a final year examination for Sama, and the invigilator a little bit stepped out when she noticed that Sama was not really writing anything. She stepped out to attend to some things which was quite not explained in this novel. But by the time she moved inside, she noticed that Sama, who hasn't been writing anything so far, ultimately began to write something in a kind of strange manner. This was weird to the invigilator, and she had to walk towards Sama. Sama was really deep into the act of examination malpractice, because she has actually got an answer sheet from her friend Kola, which was sitting close to her. Sama was in the act of copying Kola's answer sheet, not knowing that the invigilator is right behind her. So once the invigilator tapped her, she came back to her senses, and she realized that she has been caught into the act of examination malpractice, which is addressed in this book as EMA. So Sama was taken to the head of the chief executive of the committee for the crime of examination malpractice, even in her final years, and she was made to defend herself. Sama, after she has been dispatched, tried her possible best to make the case to dry down by contacting Habib, whom it seems that would be of good help to her because Habib was quite a member of the House of Representatives and he knows to find his way out in politics. Habib agreed to offer Sama a sum of 300,000 naira in exchange for sex, and Sama agreed. So when Sama got the money from Habib, he went ahead to reach out to someone who seems not to be a member of the committee. Sama attempts to bribe someone, Mr. Kabil, who claimed himself, impersonating himself as one of the members of the examination committee, was very, very bad on Sama. Sama ended up giving money to Dr. Kabil with the intention that he would be part of the member of the committee and that his case of Emma will die down. So once Sama reached out to, it was the last day for Sama to defend herself of the recent examination malpractice that she had committed, she found out that the man that she had paid money, a huge amount of money to, is not even a member of the committee. It was in this point that Sama realized that she has been duped, and this scenario left a kind of a saddening entry on her, and she began to feel sorry for herself. No, Sama was unable to defend herself, and that was how she was expelled from the university. But the aftermath of it left Habib in a kind of an annoying state, and he had to reach out to Dr. Kabil to beat him and get the money back from him. The chapter 9 of this book spoke about the effect of social media on intending university students. It also expounded on some kind of trait or the disadvantages of online dating applications. This book actually made a reference to a particular storyteller, a particular narrator here, which I will refrain from talking more about it, who nearly fell victim of this sort of dating app. The book expounds on some kind of theme that most times if you're on a dating app, the people or the person you might have been probably chatting with might turn out not to be the real person that you are chatting with. And most times you might be put into the stance of wanting to be duped and some other kind of issues attached to it. I love this book because it communicated a whole lot of morals in it. The book is very, very vast, and it is something that any intending university student should consider reading. This book is quite very astounding, and a kind of a moral that was communicated in it is very, very vast. And to my own perception, I think the author, Khadija Abubakar Jalli, has performed a wonderful work. Now, the main character in this book, to my own perception, is Sama, is Oma mother, which is the narrator, is Bint, is Habib Labara, it is Dr. Kabil, and some other team or character that I couldn't mention. Also to Sama's friend, Tomiwa, Ada, Deborah, some of them come from the southwestern part of Nigeria, that's basically or precisely from Oyo State, while another one, Sama itself, was a Fulani girl, and the story went on and on and on. This tale began at a particular spot and it ended at a particular spot, and that's one of the reasons why I find the novel quite intriguing, because it was set through a particular person, which was a narrator, and to my own perception is Oma's mother. This book is really fine, and I would like the watcher of this video to check out more. You can read this book again and come back to watch the video and leave me in the comment section whatsoever you thought you don't understand about the book. I will be glad to make answers to you in the comment section. So this will be my review on this book, The Life Changer by Khadija Abubakar Jalli. If you've not subscribed to this channel, I want to urge you to please click on the subscribe button over there so you'll never miss a thing. And if this is the first time you're watching this channel, please do subscribe to it. I'll be making more subsequent video on this book. Not on this book, but on other literary books from authors as far as I could receive them from either Nigeria or abroad. Thank you for watching this video. See you in my next video.